Welcome back to the Real Quick with Mike Swick podcast. Today we have top contender Calvin Kattar back on the show. We had him on a few months ago and we knew something was brewing, and it in fact is going down now. He is fighting the number one contender Max Holloway coming up here January 16th, Ultimate Fight Night, 184, 180 something. I don't know, but I fought on UFC Fight Night 1. So the fact that they're even in the 180s, that is crazy to me. I'm so old. Oh my God, I can't believe it. But anyway, January 16th, he will be fighting Max Holloway, and he will be fighting, I mean, you can pretty much rest assured this is going to be the fight for the championship. Huge fight for him. A lot has changed in just a couple months. Even though they were working on this fight, they did hope for this fight. It did seem like the fight to be made. And I want to talk to him again and see how he's doing, see how his fight camp's going, see how he's preparing. See how his mindset is, how excited he is to be getting the fight that he wanted, and then get his input on some other stuff. So let's talk to Calvin. All right, Calvin, welcome back to the show, bud.
Yeah, thanks for having me back on, man. Good talking to you as always.
Yeah, and can you see this?
Okay, I like it. How the hell did you get your hands on that? That's impressive.
I got Boston Mag, Boston Man Mag to send me a copy of the New England Cartel Calvin Kattar edition. Nice read.
I like it. Yeah, man, that was a fun little shoot we did. Last one, first time we've been on a cover of a magazine, nice. So that's pretty cool, especially Boston Man, you know?
That's cool, man. Yeah, that's so awesome. And then I didn't know that the New England Cartel was named after Rick Ross. His I learned this from the article. It was Rick Ross, the Carroll City Cartel or something.
Yeah, Rob was jamming out one day, listening to it, and then he's like, got a good ring to it, and he just threw New England Cartel behind it, and yeah, it's just stuck with us since. It's like a lifestyle now.
It did say in the magazine y'all were listening to CDs, so I was like, y'all listen to CDs in Boston still? So I don't know if that's just a misprint or y'all like actually listen to CDs, but I was like, all right, that's cool.
Not me, man. That was Rob. Who knows? Who knows, man?
Yeah, no worries, man. That was awesome. Good read, though. And, man, I told you when you came back on, it was going to be cool. It was going to be some big news. And actually in the article, they mentioned, which this came out right after our podcast because the guys from Boston Mag watched the podcast, did a story, and then said they wanted like to send me a magazine if I wanted it. And I was like, yeah, hell yeah, for sure, send it to me. And then they did. And it said in the article that there were talks about you fighting Holloway. So first of all, how exciting is it fighting the number one contender in the division? And then how did that fight happen? Because apparently it's been in the works for a while, according to the magazine here.
Yeah, well, it just kind of seemed like the only fight that was on the table that would make sense given the current condition of the weight class. Everyone just you got Zombie and Ortega just fought, and then yep. The Yar and Zabit, all that going on. So really only two people left in the top of the heap was me and Max, and the champ wants contenders that are staying busy, active. And I don't think you're going to find one more active than me right now, man, trying to make my claim for that title run. And I think, like I told you, anybody that fights Max next, I think deserves that shot, whether it was me or whoever wants to sign that contract, I think they should get next in line. So who better than myself to take that shot now?
How do you feel about that? How has that changed your camp and just your overall mental state getting ready for a fight now that this is like the big one, a very big one?
Yeah, well, just the only thing that changed is just that now we have something scheduled. I've been pretty consistent, like I said, all year since, the start of the year. I was already just locked in, and I felt like the timing of this one couldn't have come at a better time. 2-0 this year. My goals were to go 3-0, and I have an opportunity to do that just a couple weeks, after the end of the year, and just pick me back up on schedule, and yeah, it's what we've been wanting. It's the fight that made sense, and it's the fight we got.
Yeah, I noticed. Well, I was going to ask you about the COVID situation there in Boston and the training. And I know they touched on that in the article, saying something along the lines of what you guys got going on with the New England Cartel is a little bit better than like the super gym type formula. So how does that work exactly? How do you become a cartel member? And how is the COVID situation? How are you guys dealing with that and still getting the training that you need to get ready for a fight like this?
Yeah, we just lucked out, man. We got a location, a warehouse that wasn't being used at the time, heated. I threw up. I told you we run a promotion called Combat Zone out here in New Hampshire, and so the cage is we haven't been able to use it, due to the state regulations and everything. So it's just been sitting there in the truck. So I found a warehouse. We were able to set it up, and now we're housing our own training, small tight knit group, and really, it's just trying to go around the fighter schedule instead of, team training sessions, how they're all kind of standardized and just, grouped in. We kind of make it based off around the fighter individually, and whoever's got that fight coming up takes top priority.
It's kind of like a brotherhood then, sort of like we did the same thing at AK. We were a super gym, but we had our normal class schedules and stuff, but it was like a brotherhood that we helped each other out. And in our class schedule, the priority went to the people that had fights coming up, just like what you were saying. So we all helped the people that were getting ready for fights. The TV fights were the number one priority, and all the other fights below that. What does it take to get in your group and join the cartel? And are y'all looking for people, or is it just kind of where you want it to be right now?
You just gotta, for what I think it is, it's just really all about putting in the work, which is our motto. It's all we do. We're just, a couple guys just putting in the work, trying to chase down goals and dreams by any means necessary, and we got some guys that are up and coming, giving us work, and they're putting in the effort day in, day out. So it's just about showing up, putting in the work, and over time, developing into that brotherhood. Because, coming into that brotherhood doesn't happen overnight. You got to earn that through, sweat equity, put in the hours, the time. Don't have an ego. Don't be selfish, and put the team first, man. And I feel like we got a great group around us, and it's that brotherhood feel, like you're saying.
Yeah. And I was going to ask you about the Holloway fight. Going back to that real fast. How do you balance the momentum that he has right now? Because I guess the lack of momentum. So he's obviously 1-3 in his last 4 fights, but it's 2 times to the champ. Last fight being a split decision. The loss was to Poirier, other than the champ. Then he beat Frankie Edgar, and he beat Ortega outside of that. So it's like you can't look at like the record. You can't look at the skid that he's kind of on. How do you balance that overall like kind of momentum and try to feel where he's at in his career right now and how he's going to show up to fight you?
Yeah, you got to imagine you're always going to fight the best Max Holloway, right? You don't ever think you're going to go fight the guy on. And sometimes people on skids, man, they're dangerous. They're doing anything they can. They're fighting for their contract and just to get a W, like you're saying. But when you fight a guy like Max Holloway, man, he's already got all the accolades. So his name carries weight itself. And the guys he lost to, they're no scrubs, like you mentioned. So anytime you get an opportunity against a guy like Max, you picture you're fighting the best Max Holloway that's ever stepped foot in there. And you're going to have to make him deal with, the skill set that you bring to the table. We're not just going to overreact to what Max Holloway does. We're going to make him adjust to what we do too. There's a reason why we got this opportunity in the first place.
Yeah, and especially when he fought the champ and then came back, fought him again, and then it was a split decision in the end. It wasn't like he got put away with nothing like that. So he's obviously not getting sidetracked, or he's not slowing down for sure.
Yeah.
You can say he's only.
And that's kind of like my argument. I say a little bit too. It's like you see the way I'm losing, you see the way I'm winning.
Yeah.
It's important to see the difference, and so I feel once we tighten up a couple of those little mental errors, things like that, we're really going to be a lot for these guys to deal with.
We all know Holloway. We all know, we've all seen him fight. He's fought the best out there. He's well-rounded. Where do you see, without giving away any strategy, where do you see yourself being strong in this fight or having a good advantage?
Obviously I go in there. They got to deal with phase 1, which is the stand-up, and then from there, I'm really just looking to mix it up. I just take what he gives. With Jeremy, I was happy to showcase a little bit of Muay Thai with the elbow, and I'd like to show more of my game, man. But it all starts phase 1 in the stand-up, and if they can't get through that, I'm gonna stay there, and if they can, then we're gonna move on it and just like I said, take what he gives us. So a guy like Max, you can't go out there looking for things. You look for things, you're gonna be sit and duck, waiting for something that might never come. And then so we're just gonna go in there, react to everything he does, and we feel like we know what he's going to bring to the table or have an idea, but you always got to be ready to make real-time adjustments in there, because that's what true champions do. They overcome any adversity that happens while it's happening, not after, when you could sit back, slow it down, and put it in slow motion and break it down. You got to do it real time.
Yeah. Yeah, it sounds like you're ready for that as well. Do you have an exact prediction in your mind how the fight's going to go?
Just me getting my hand raised, and by any means necessary. It's like I was saying, I just visualized more of like the hand being raised more so than the shot landing. Although I see certain ways that I can end the fight, and we'll be looking for that from start to finish. But at the end of the day, man, I'm just trying to get my hand raised and then chase that life on a win over Max Holloway. Chase that lifestyle. That's what I'm looking for. Always chasing that life on a win of the next guy you fight, man, because it's always better than the loss.
That's what I was kind of getting back to in the beginning, is it's got to change your fight camp and your lifestyle since our previous podcast a couple months ago. Being that, you're chasing the win over Max Holloway now, but you're also training for a fight with Max Holloway right now. There's something to that as well. You got to be riding out a little bit. There's got to be some kind of momentum for you and excitement and drive to go along with just that alone. Just getting and knowing that he's this guy, the number one contender of the division, is getting ready to fight you now, not somebody else.
Yep, no, 100%. And stepping in there though, I always feel like I'm fighting. They get the best Calvin Kattar every time I step in there. Absolutely. It doesn't matter who they are. I don't fight down to my opponent. And I feel like anytime I'm an underdog or have to fight up and my back's against the wall and I have doubters, then I feel like that's when I'm at my best, when I have more doubters, more people to silence. And I'll have a lot of them this time around.
Yeah, no. He's obviously going to be the favorite, being, as far as he's had big fights and all the accolades that he has going in. But this is your chance. This is your big opportunity that everybody has to have and get through to get to that level where Holloway is. Obviously, to have those followers that he has. I'm sure you're getting a ton of questions about Holloway, and obviously, you've answered that, and you're probably getting tired of answering those. What do you think about Volkanovski as the champion, and what do you think about his potential possible fight with Ortega and how Ortega's last fight went? Like, what are your overall thoughts on that?
I thought Ortega looked good. I feel like, I don't know about taking one fight in the last couple of years and then getting the title shot right away after going 1-1. I don't know. I feel like, like I said, the winner over, you have to beat a guy like Max, I feel like, to get in there. And I have that opportunity in front of me. I think I can cut everybody in the division with a win over Max. And as far as the champ, I like it, man. I like his mindset on it. He wants to fight contenders, guys that are earning their opportunities, and he sees how stagnant the division is. He doesn't want to give these guys a shot for not fighting. Oh, you just, by consolation, you get to fight the champ. That's not how he got it. That's not how he wants to give it. And I respect that. So I share that mindset, with him. And I think it'd be a great fight, man. I'd love to, like I said, go out, get my hand raised against Max, and then I'd be gunning for the champ next. And I don't think there's many people that can make an argument that I wouldn't deserve that after a win over Max.
Absolutely. There's absolutely no question about it. And then obviously when you're at the level that you're at right now, you're fighting to be a champion. You see yourself as champion level. You see yourself as being able to beat everybody. That being said, sometimes the champion can be a fight you look forward to in a fun way, or could be worried about in certain ways. Like in my era, there was the GSP era, so GSP was the king of my division, and I wanted to beat him, but that was a tough guy in many different rights. I knew I could never beat him point for point, technically like anybody could. We had to go in there and knock him out or do something unorthodox to win that fight. What do you think about Volkanovski as far as, not, again, no disrespect to Max at all, not looking past Max at all, but him being the champion as the king of the division? How do you feel about having a king like that in your division? And do you feel like that's a good opponent if you do get past Max Holloway to face to get the championship?
Well, he's not my king, but he might wear the crown, but he's not my king.
He's not your king.
Yeah, not my king, but he's done what he had to do with everybody he stepped in there with. I think he's got one loss, right? Maybe against one guy he didn't, but other than that, he's gone out. He's beat a lot of the greats, man. He's beat Aldo. He's beat Max. He's done what he had to do with everybody pretty much that he stepped in there with. But I see myself going out and I would love first. You got to earn that opportunity, man. Like you said, it's tough to overshoot a guy like Max and talk about how you're going to fight the
Yeah, I
champ.
didn't want
I
to.
wish it worked. I wish it worked that way, man. But I got to get through a guy like Max.
Yeah, no, I
And
get
then,
it.
like I said, from there, it's just another feather under your cap, and that's that confidence boost you need to know. If I could take out Max Holloway and then all these guys underneath them, who's the champ Volkanovski to stand in my way next?
Right.
Like why not him? Why not? Everybody can get it, and everybody's gonna get it one by one. And next is Max.
All right, guys, I hope you're enjoying the podcast, but we have to thank our sponsors. Our first being Manscaped, the official trimmer of the UFC, and now the official trimmer of the Real Quick with Mike Swick podcast, and yours truly. Precision engineered tools for your family jewels. If you're looking for the ultimate stocking stuffers for this holiday season, look no further. This is the only brand dedicated to below-the-waist grooming and hygiene products, and they're now available in Europe, Canada, and Australia. So not only in America, all over the world you can get this product now. So all you guys listening from all over the world, go to manscaped.com, manscaped.com, and now you can get 20% off and free shipping using the code QUICK at checkout. So it's a great Christmas gift for yourself. No one's going to know, don't worry. And obviously for your friends and for your family and for everybody else as well. And then when you use the code QUICK, that lets them know that I sent you, which means it supports the podcast because they're like, hey, we're getting all these orders from code QUICK, the podcast. He's doing a great job promoting the product and you're supporting the podcast. So it helps us. It helps you save money, 20% off, free shipping. It's a win-win for everyone. And as always, this podcast is brought to you by AK Thailand, the world's premier luxury training resort in Phuket, Thailand. If you have any questions, email info@akthailand.com and we will get back to you immediately, or go to akthailand.com for all information. We have a huge website that's very informative, and you can save 30% by booking right now all group training packages at akthailand.com. And I tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to give you an even better deal. If you name this episode, I don't know the number of this episode right now. I think it's 104, I think. But if you can name it, because I can't at this exact moment. But if you email info@akthailand.com and you mention podcast, Calvin Kattar, or number whatever, the first person that emails us will get 50% discount. So the very first person that wants to stay 3 months, you got to stay 3 months or longer, because right now the borders did open in Thailand for 3-month visas. We have a special 3-month visa. You got to go through a quarantine, but you do get 3 months in Thailand. So you can come to Thailand as of next month, like January, but you can be here. And we can take care of everything. It depends on your country. Not every country, so don't get, let me get ahead of myself, but most countries. We can walk you through it, info@akthailand.com. We can get you here by January, get you a 3-month package, save you 50% if you're the first person to email and pre-book and say the name of this podcast. And you can be here and away from wherever you're at and enjoying the beach like I am on my Instagram. You can come hang out with us, train on the beach, swim on the beach, go to the islands, and do all the fun stuff. So, yeah, that's the new special I'm going to do for this podcast right now. 50% discount. You save half. We've never had a discount like that. That's why we're doing one right now. First person that emails us and pre-books and actually pays 50% discount. 3 months or more, group training. If you're not familiar with the gym, here's the commercial.
What's up, everybody? I am here in Thailand. This is the first time I've ever been here. Been dying to come here for years. Mike Swick, he's one of the big reasons he's been trying to pull me down here. What he built down here, AKA Thailand, is incredible. There's people here from all over the world. You can train mixed martial arts here, jiu-jitsu. They have weightlifting, they have cardio, and obviously they have Muay Thai, boxing, everything. I'm telling you guys, I know everybody wants to go to Thailand because Thailand's so cool, but you can't come to Thailand without coming to AKA Thailand. Come on.
So I know you just saw the fights probably that just happened. I think you said you had a parlay and you bet. So sorry about your loss. First of all, I think you had Fig and Barrett.
Yeah, I still think it would have came through, man. If Pete got caught in some crazy shit.
Yeah, it was crazy.
You know, that kid Chase Hooper's pretty slick. He came in with some funky shit, but
yeah.
That main event was great. And man, Charles Oliveira is a beast, huh? We already knew that, but
I'm gonna get into that one real fast. But what did you think about the main event with Fig and Moreno?
It was a great fight, man. They're bringing excitement back to a division that needed it. You know, right now, man, hell of a fight and. You know, flyweight or not, it was a hell of a fight.
Yeah.
They put on a great show, and I enjoyed it start to finish. Watched the whole fight; it was great.
And did you wince at all during the Ferguson Charles fight? I don't think I've ever winced so much, man. Especially that arm bar. And Tony's crazy strong or crazy, strong. But I mean, like not only physically but just mentally too. Like the dude is just a freak, man. And when you put it behind the arm like that. Jesus Christ, man.
I swear, man, I don't know how he didn't tap. And if there was an extra second left, I feel like he would have had to. But I feel like he should have already had to with the time that was even on there. He's a nut. He's an animal. But Charles is a beast. And that's tough to say, though, because, like, look, they tell me Charles doesn't deserve a shot at the champ, you know, whoever that's, you know, going to be. I don't even know. But then you look at like a win over Max, okay, but then you got Ortega, and then it builds up quick. Sometimes these guys have up a little bit of momentum, where then it's like it gets so crowded at the top, and then it probably got to be somewhat tough even being the champ, where it's like not the worst, but you're sitting back waiting for these guys to figure shit out, and you kind of want to be active, you know. I could see myself being upset, like, look, I'm trying to fight, trying to stay busy, and these contenders can't even work their shit out, you know. It's like, I don't know. Good problems for the UFC to have, though, right?
I mean, when I got in the UFC, man, like they were in the Gordon Biersch building. There were like 13 office employees, and there was literally a UFC event every 2 months. At the time we did The Ultimate Fighter. And now it seems like this has got to be the most they've ever rushed fights together, where you got guys like Fig fighting, back-to-back championship fights within like 7 weeks or something. And you got Khamzat fighting multiple times. You got Kevin Holland, who's had like 5 fights, victories or whatever this year alone.
Next week.
I mean, it's like the amount of fights, I think, is also having an effect on like the matches and stuff, you know, because some fighters are getting fights that they should be getting. Other fighters like Figueiredo is, you know, he might be fighting at a decline, fighting where he's weaker, having to cut weight twice and having back-to-back fights and having less of a performance, where he still had a good fight, but could he have had a better fight if he had another month or two off or a month off and then another couple months to have a full fight camp? So it's weird how this whole thing is kind of working now, and everyone's having to adjust to this new dynamic, along with the COVID, along with the no crowds, along with the guidelines and the quarantines and all that. Yeah,
definitely. Life constantly adjusting, constantly just overcoming whatever is thrown at you, you know. And that's why I was saying, man, this whole pandemic, it really does remind me of a fight camp, right? Just shit hitting the fan left and right. And you're just laser focused on forward. It's all like the time. It's the only thing that'll get you through sometimes, man. So for me, you know, being competitive, still competing in the UFC, you know, shout out to Dana White, keeping us busy, giving us something to go after through all this crazy shit going on. You know, I'm just happy to be in the UFC at this point, not trying to get in there because I couldn't imagine having to deal with that.
You know, especially the cuts. I mean, they're cutting people now, so it's like you're already in and you're at the top. Imagine these guys have been working their asses off for like 5 years, 4 years, and they're trying to get in now when they're cutting 60 people, and it's like and they're having all these fights still, and it's still not enough. So, yeah, you're right, man. You're in a good place, and that's obviously a good thing. You're not worried at all about the COVID situation going back in. I mean, you're used to this now, and it's not a big deal, and it's going to be another fight for you.
No, it's especially with the amount of cases going up. It's like, how do you defend yourself? You just try to do what you can and hope for the best. You know, obviously take all the precautionary measures you can, but I mean, you can get pumping gas. You know, you can get it wherever. So it's like you can go crazy about it. But it's definitely, I'm most nervous before my first COVID test, leading into, like, say for Rob's fight, we had to take one before we go out.
Yeah.
And that was the one I'm most nervous for.
Yeah.
You know? And then once you pass that one, you're like, all right, now I just got to be able to be smart somehow. But then you got to fly there.
Yeah. Like, with everybody on the plane.
It's really like your second COVID test is the one that you're most nervous about. Because, like, all right, you got the first one, you're good. So now you fly out, and then it would suck. At least you find out before you get sent out somewhere. But to find out when you're there, and and then now you're stuck there, and I don't know, man. It's a headache. But aside from that, you just don't want to be the reason why your teammate, misses a huge opportunity to get a payday. Especially Rob. He's been inactive now for a year, trying to get his due after that injury, and for me to sideline him over something like that really is very tough to control. It's always going to be in the back of your head, and have you a little nervous. But yeah, as far as having our own place to train now and really limiting the amount of people we're working with, just focusing on all the things that we actually can control, then I think we're in a good place with how our situation's set up, taking these opportunities ahead of us.
Yeah, I agree with you, man. And like I just had Cub on the podcast, and I had him on a few days before his fight, and I was like terrified for him because he had like a year layoff, and I was just like, man, I hope nothing happens that he gets like COVID or something happens. The fight gets because can you imagine a year off and then you get a good fight signed and then you go out there, and that's why he was so emotional. I think when he won, it was like, I was so happy for him, man. I was just so happy.
All the bullshit ways you could lose a fight.
Oh, there's a million ways you could lose a fight, and you can't even make it to the fight now. Sometimes.
That's what I'm saying. And then picture even getting to the fight. Some people missing the weight at the weigh-ins, or some people even make the weight, and then the next day they're tripping over the wire. Like, you always hear these dumb reasons why people pull out. And you're like, what? You can't even. But now just a random X factor. Here's COVID in the mix, so at any point, all your shit can. Get pushed back.
Is it? I mean, I'm in Thailand, so there's no COVID. But you being in America, is it just crazy when you see somebody cough right now? Is it just like, do you just run away from them?
It's not. It's instead of like a cough or it's not like a bless you. It's like cover your shit.
Yeah, you get angry.
Like,
how dare you be sick?
Get away from me. Check that guy. Yeah, I don't know, man. It's a weird vibe.
I just watched this Michael Bay film tonight, like literally right for the podcast, called Songbird, and it's a movie with Demi Moore and a lot of stars, but it's about COVID. But it's about super advanced COVID, like way worse than it is now. So don't watch that before the fight, because it's a scary apocalyptic possibility that could actually happen. It's basically COVID like more morphing into like a worse scenario, and it was just it was crazy. So like I'm terrified of it now.
It's weird how those movies sometimes can actually
I hope not
play out, right? Sometimes I guess there's comparisons to I Am Legend and stuff with the map from now, right? It's weird how sometimes they could be pretty spot on. But it's like it's crazy. Do something that we didn't.
Yeah, I don't want to take up a lot of your time, man. And but you're a superstar now, dude. You're fighting Max Holloway and the number one contender fight.
Listen, man.
I gotta ask you two questions.
Congratulations, I get that, man, but I didn't win shit yet. You know what I'm saying?
I know, but you're a big star. You're a big star, bro. You're a big star. You made your way up, so I gotta ask you a couple predictions right now just to get your opinion. You're that guy that's at the top now, so you got to answer these questions to these guys that are like, they want that expert opinion. So I got to obviously ask you about Conor and Dustin. Like, what are your thoughts on that? Just, you don't have to make an exact prediction, but just what are your overall thoughts on that fight?
I'm really excited about it, man. I love a good rematch, especially with two quality guys. Dustin paid for that fight once, and he's done a lot since. And let's see what he does. I'm excited to see that matchup. I'm excited to see if he can come out and adjust, because I always feel like if Aldo had that rematch, maybe he comes out a little bit more patient. Maybe he starts leg kicking.
Right.
Maybe, he fucked up, right? He went in there, he went for the big shot, got caught.
Yeah.
Would that happen again? Let's find out. I'm excited for that one, but I think it'll be a better fight. I think it'll be a little bit. I think Dustin plays a little safer in the beginning, and tries to kind of get him later in the round, especially since it looks like Conor gasses later and Dustin turns it up. But I think he's going to come out a little bit more safer in the beginning and cautious, and I think it'll be a good fight, a closer fight.
Another big fight that's been questioned a lot, that got canceled, but I'm pretty sure it's going to happen, and it's going to get put back on if it hasn't already. The Khamzat, Chimaev versus Edwards. How do you think that fight's going to go? Do you think the Khamzat is going to live up to the hype and prove himself, or do you think that Edwards is going to show that he's not quite to that level yet?
I think Edwards is going to show him that he's not quite at that level yet. That's a new. How do you pronounce his name? Because it doesn't even sound like the way I read it.
I think this is correct, man. I have been back and forth with it, but I think it's Khamzat Chimaev, and I know it doesn't sound anything like that.
C-H-I-M-A-Z, right?
Yeah, the K silent and the T silent, and like
I don't know. Doesn't even sound like you said what I read.
I think
when I read it,
no, it doesn't.
Say a different name.
Yeah, I said it so bad the first time I got flamed.
Holland was saying he hasn't fought a guy with like a winning record yet, right? Or winning the UFC. I could see there's guys like that. Not to say he's not a real one, but he hasn't earned that yet, and Leon has. So I got to give Leon the nod.
Is the man,
and I feel like Leon will go and show why he's ready for these title contenders.
And then lastly, speaking of Khamzat, and someone who also just called him out yesterday or today or whatever day it is for you, it was today for me, early this morning. Do you think Kevin Holland is the real deal? I mean, do you think he's going to be that guy that's going to work his way up and possibly give us this possible dream matchup without Adesanya, with the trash talking and the fighting?
Yeah, he got my attention, and because he's talked a lot of shit, and he's gone 5-0.
And to knock out Jacare like that is pretty freaking insane, man. Yeah, and the confidence up until that point.
He's an animal. That was smooth. That was pretty unorthodox too. The way he did it on the way up, loading it up, it was a good shot. It was a clean shot. He's definitely got my full attention. He seems like he's a real deal. Anybody going 5-0 in the UFC in 1 year, you're doing something right, man. I think that'll be a great fight. But where he said he's an 85er, right? Yeah. So it'd be interesting. I don't know if that guy would want to, however you say his name, would want to bump up. But yeah.
Well, Khamzat said he's going to smash everybody, but you're right. He is big. He's a little for Kevin.
Yeah, for Kevin especially. But I still think he's got to win some notable fights at 70 before he jumps up and fight random guys at 85. He's got to fight. Give him a test at 70, and then if he passes the test at 70, entertain the bigger ones maybe. But too much of that jumping around shit. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. But I think Leon. I think Holland's definitely the real deal. I think he's already proven it more than the other guy, like you said. I can't even say his name, man. But yeah, both all prospects, man, all exciting prospects, and we're gonna find out with all of them. So I definitely think Leon shows him, with that test that he should stay 170. But I mean, we'll have to see, man. If he takes out Leon, he's got my undivided, man. Send him to the top, because Leon's a tough opponent. Doesn't have really many holes and comes to fight. I like that kid, man. He's a solid fighter.
Yeah, well, thanks for the input, man. I appreciate it. And right now, you, my friend, are the hot prospect fighting the #1 contender. I'm extremely excited about the fight. I hope nothing gets in the way. Hope you guys don't get COVID and everything plays out great. You guys finally get this matchup that y'all been hoping for. And I'll be rooting both of you on for a great fight and to be safe and healthy. Thanks for coming back on the podcast. I appreciate it, man. And like I said, dude, we're going to be doing a podcast eventually, and you're going to have that belt in front of you. I guarantee you.
I like it. I'm with it, and I'll come out there to do it because I'm looking for a trip out there, man. I've always wanted to come out there and train at AK, man. And,
absolutely.
Hey, if everybody's listening, tune in also next week. My boy Rob Font fights Mountain Rice Saturday night. So, yeah, post his W.
You got it.
And then we'll see you down there eventually sometime 2021, man. It'd be great.
All right, brother. It was awesome talking to you again. Good luck. Have a safe training camp, and I'll be staying in touch and rooting for you.
Yes, sir. Thank you, brother. Good talking to you.
Take care, brother. All right, Calvin Kattar ready to go. Very excited. He seems in good spirit. So happy for him. I love these podcasts for this reason, man. This is exactly like the first podcast I had with Calvin. It was a great conversation. I never met him before, but we flowed so well. The vibes were so good. And now it's so cool to have him back, someone that I like so much, that I had such a great conversation with. It was so nice to have him back on the show again, now with such great news, and then just watch that excitement. You know what I mean? Like being a fighter myself and having those fights that take you to the next level and getting close to the title shot and all that. I have all those memories, and it's like butterflies in my stomach right now to see that reaction from these guys. These guys that are coming up, and I can kind of relive those moments, and it's really cool for me selfishly to relive these moments and relive my career through these guys. But I'm genuinely just so happy for them. This was a great podcast to see the difference that he has mentally and just his attitude now that he's getting the fight that he wants. He was excited and happy and knew something big was coming before, but now it's set. We hope nothing, obviously he hopes and I hope as well, nothing gets in the way of the fight. I think there's plenty of time right now to be worrying about stuff like that. And I'm sure guys at this level fighting fights like this are doing everything in their power to stay safe. So it's a crazy fight. Calvin's got some great stand-up, great fight IQ, great pressure. I mean, it's going to be a great fight to see where Max is too. Like we talked about, coming off that split decision, he's hungry. It's not like he's declining either. So they're going to collide, and it's going to be a fantastic fight that I'm going to be super excited to watch. And I hope you guys enjoyed the podcast. Hope you took from it. It was some great insight. I appreciate Calvin for sharing all that input, now that he's at that expert level, he's at the top. So people want to know what he thinks about these guys like Khamzat. When he eventually learns how to say Khamzat, say his name. It took me a while myself. And then obviously Conor and Dustin and these other things, New England Cartel and what they're doing and how they're doing their camps and who they're looking for. So hopefully you guys got something from it, and leave a comment. Let me know what you think. We love reading the comments. We love the feedback. We love interacting with you guys. We appreciate it. Please subscribe, click the bell. And we got a lot of podcasts coming up. I'm doing 5 podcasts this week as of right now, and we're working on potentially some more for the end of the week and next week. So we're trying to cram as much as we can in before Christmas, so that we can have a full month. And it looks like it's going to be one of the fullest months we've ever had, even with Christmas, which I'm sure we're not going to have podcasts, actual interviews on Christmas, but or Christmas Eve. So I think we're still going to be fine. Stay tuned. So subscribe. Check the community. We leave a lot of updates there, polls and who's going to be on the show, and the bell again, whatever that does, it tells you, I guess, when the show comes out. And we appreciate the support, guys. Seriously, the podcast is growing so fast. We're getting so many good guests. It's great to have guests wanting to be on the show now and wanting to, contacting us to be on and to be guests. And you guys saying that you love it and that you're enjoying the show. So I love doing it. I'm super happy you love watching it and listening to it. So thanks for the support, and we'll see you next time.